You work hard. Can they hear me? Is it on now? Okay, good morning. For those of you online, we will be starting here in just a few minutes. We're kind of just gathering up, so about 2 more minutes.
Okay, Thursday I want y'all sitting in. I should have told you earlier. Okay, you all know I hate to be back behind the screen, but Thursday, sit up closer, okay? And we'll have a sign-up sheet on Thursday too. Maybe front row needs candy or something. Although I don't think I'm on sugar. Great idea. Front row needs to be released early. Real. Because of my eye problems, I always did. Always do. They say the camera adds 10 pounds. Are the online people hearing me? Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, online. If you don't know me, you know I'm goofy. I mean, if you know me, you know I'm goofy. If you don't know me, now you know I'm goofy. Are we ready? Okay. Okay. Welcome to Fall 15, gosh, internships. So I know all of you are, those that are here are, and online, are reading, math, science, social studies, right? Early childhood also does. Anybody, early childhood does reading. Okay. I'm Dr. Janet Stramel, and I teach mathematics methods 1 and 2. And this year I am the interim chair. Interim means just for 1 year. Of the Department of Teacher Education. For those of you that remember Dr. Holden, he moved, so I'm taking his place for a year. I want people to introduce themselves before we get started. So let's see, it might be better if everyone comes up here to introduce yourselves so that the camera can pick you up. So come on. Next.
I'm Dr. Sherry Brantley. I work with the residency, ESOL, and I will be working with the internship this year.
Mary Meckenstock. I teach children's literature, and I'm also oversee some of the interns. You get that.
I'm Dr. Teresa Woods. I teach science methods and will be working with the science internship.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Beth Walliser, and I teach the reading methods courses. I do not have an internship, but I want to make sure I know what's going on in an internship so I can share it with you all.
Thank you all for being here. And Tiffany, sorry, I didn't see you moving.
I'm Tiffany Hester. You received tons of emails from me. I harassed you about different things, including internships. I placed you in the internship.
So if you get an email from Tiffany, you need to pay attention to it because she's the one that makes contact with your mentor teachers in the field. And so she has that information in that spreadsheet. And if she knows if you don't have your TB skin test or you haven't done the bloodborne pathogen video, she keeps track of that in our office. So if you get an email from her, you need to pay attention to it. Okay, so a couple things to begin with. Be sure that you download, print, give to your mentor teacher the syllabus. It's in the Blackboard shell. The dispositions form, and that is in Blackboard syllabus. And we're going to go over a few things in the syllabus in just a minute. The dispositions form and the keep form, your mentor teacher has their own TK20 account, so they won't fill out a paper copy, but they will probably want to see it, a hard copy, but then they fill out their own evaluation online. And that email comes from Amy Wright. If they have problems logging into TK20, they can contact me or Amy Wright, and we can give them the information. There are a couple things. Oh, yes.
To print it off, they would come here.
Okay. To print off the disposition evaluation, you would go under dispositions evaluation.
And the team,
And the keep is right there. Okay. Now, for internships, for T-Core, when you do your mini teach in your methods class, you're evaluated with the T-Core, and I detail you later. Okay. So be sure and talk to your mentor teachers about that. Okay, a couple things I want to go through in the syllabus. Tiffany, I'm on page. You do need to read the syllabus because there are lots of things in it that you need to pay attention to. And one thing is the teacher education late policy on page 14. Assignments submitted within 1 week past the due date receive a grade reduction of 20%, and no assignment will be accepted after a week late. Now, if you have extenuating circumstances, if you've had a death in your family or you have a major illness, then you need to not only contact your professor, but you need to contact student affairs so that we can get that documentation. Other than that, anything past a week we don't accept. Don't forget the academic honesty policy, and plagiarism is a major problem. So, we don't tolerate that. And then I also wanted to mention to you the discontinuation in teacher education. You do have to maintain a 2.75 GPA. You do have to have a C or better in all your education courses. If you're on a waiver, say you had a 2.74, and so you had to apply for a waiver. So you have 1 semester to make up that waiver requirement, and then you're only granted 1 waiver for 1 semester. And if you have a letter grade lower than a C in any education courses, you can only repeat that course once. And you could be discontinued from teacher education for a year if you don't meet those policies. You can always reapply after a year. The policy on communication, emails will be answered within 3 working days. Please be respectful of your professors and instructors, because we have hundreds of students too, and so we try to get to your emails as fast as we can. But if you send an email at midnight on Friday night, we may not see it till Monday morning. Or don't send an email and then immediately pick up the phone and say, I just sent you an email and here's my problem. Give us a minute to read it and respond. So our policy is 3 working days. Okay, you are required to be in your internship 2 or more days a week for 2.5 hours of academic time for each of the content courses. So math, early childhood, 2.5 hours. Science is 80 minutes of academic time, and social studies is 80 minutes of academic time. So what? Is that the wrong number?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. And the reason we say academic time is because you need to be watching and with your teacher while they're teaching math. If you're in the math internship, you wouldn't want to be there for PE. unless she's integrating or he is integrating math into that PE class. But you need to be there for the academic time. Okay, page 16. More is expected of a teacher than any other profession. I always say teachers and preachers, we're just held to a higher standard. And so you need to act appropriately and be a professional. We're going to talk more about that on Thursday, about being a professional. Don't place yourself. Tiffany has been working on that all summer and still has a few placements, right? So don't place yourself. You do need to do the bloodborne pathogen video. I know you're probably tired of watching it if this is not your first internship, but even when you get into the schools, every year you watch the bloodborne pathogen video. So every year when I was in Wamego, we got to watch the lady cut her hand on the paper cutter. And it's gross, but you'd have to watch it every year. Confidentiality, you may have some confidential information about the children in your classes, and you must keep that to yourself. Don't go telling someone else. Don't talk about it when you go to the queue on Friday night. Don't talk about the students in your classroom, because what if there's a parent right next to you? So you have to maintain that confidentiality. There's a liability waiver that you need to sign, and then also you need to make sure that your TB skin test is up to date. They're good for 4 years, but Tiffany has that list, so if you are past your 4 years, then you'll send them an email, right? Or you have already, probably.
I'll talk about that.
Okay, good. Okay, so we have 4 meetings today, Thursday, next Tuesday, next Thursday. Next Thursday we'll have a sign-in sheet. Then we'll talk more about the assignments later. Sorry, I'm getting kind of ahead of myself. You have 2 reflections, you have a dispositions, and a teaching evaluation. A formal observation, a portfolio, we'll talk about those later. And then be sure that your mentor teacher signs your attendance log. This is on page 19. You do have to keep track of the hours you're in the field. So make sure that your mentor teacher signs or initials that. And then that very last sentence, candidates who do not complete the required 40 hours will receive a final grade deduction of 1 letter grade. So if you have an A in the course, but you only did 30 hours, then you're going to get a B. If you have a C in the course and you only did 38 hours, then you're going to get a D, which means you have to repeat. And I think that's all I want to say. At the very last page of the syllabus has important dates, due dates, and all that good stuff. Okay, I'm going to quit talking for a minute and let Dr. Brantley talk to you about KEEP.
I have one more part to add about the hours on your log. Total up your hours. Don't just guess. Sit down and figure them and make sure, because if they add up to 2 hours less, then you're not going to get assignment. So anyway, this semester you will have an evaluation done by your mentor out in the field. In Kansas, when you become a teacher, you will have the Kansas, the KEEP, which is Kansas Educator Evaluation Protocol. And that is a tool that some districts use, the Kansas KEEP, some use like McCrell or another tool that the district has approved. But the state of Kansas has this one. And our teachers out in the field, your mentors, will have this form and they will evaluate you. Now the rubric for this form we're going to go over. But you will also have an evaluation using the T-Core in your methods class, because that is a data point for our department. So you'll have one observation done by the T-Core that will be as a data point in your course, but your teacher out in the field will use the KEEP tool, okay?
That's when you teach your formal lesson.
Now, why do we do that? Because we want you to get into a frame of mind of thinking, this is what they're going to be looking for when I get out in the field as a teacher. Every year you'll be evaluated. So you need to get into that modality of thinking. All right, so there are 4 constructs in the KEEP. The first one here is learner and learning. Can you all see that in the back? All right, if you look at this first part, here it says, to ensure that each student learns new knowledge and skills, teachers must understand that learning and developmental patterns vary individually. This is going to look, construct one is going to be looking at the learner and learning. What is going on when you're teaching? Is there learner development? The teacher planned instruction. Did you plan for this, or did you just go in and not have anything planned out, or if it wasn't, you didn't have accommodations or strategies for different levels of students? They're going to look for planning instruction, aligning instruction with student learning needs, using a variety of approaches and resources, and adapting the instruction. You may have to adapt different places in your lesson plan, and your instructors in your methods class will tell you that. You're going to have to meet the needs of the students in the class. 1.2, learner differences. The teacher recognized and fostered individual differences to establish a positive classroom culture. Key indicators, getting to know all students, know their names. Using the knowledge of the students to create a culture of respect and meeting all the needs of the students. So interact with those students. We talk about working the crowd, get out and mingle with the students, get to know them, look at their work, don't just kind of go through the motion. Take ownership of what they're doing. 1.3, the learning environment. The teacher established a classroom environment conducive to learning. Key indicators that they'll be looking for: collaborating with students, establishing a safe, respectful, and academically challenging environment. So the key on construct 1 will be looking for those things. Okay? And these are the rubric piece that you can look through, and I would suggest that you go print this off, and as you make your lessons, look at this. Make sure that you're touching all of these, and that you look at the performance considerations. Is there evidence and what you want to demonstrate? It's very laid out. Construct 2 is content knowledge. Teachers must have a deep and flexible understanding of their content areas and able to draw upon that as they work with students. So, if you look at 2.1, content knowledge, the teacher demonstrated a thorough knowledge of content. Key indicators are encourage the use of multiple representations, explanations, and a wide variety of experiences, building student understanding. So you're going to have to pull that in. 2.2, innovative applications of content knowledge. Teacher provided a variety of innovative applications of knowledge. Key indicators are using problem solving, critical thinking skills, and exploring technology, and exploring and delivering content through real world application of knowledge. Collaborating with colleagues and provide cross collaboration opportunities, basically. Okay, any questions on that? So they're going to be looking at your content knowledge.
I have a question, Sherry.
Yes.
As an intern, where should I expect to fall on this group? Should I be all the way over
Excellent
here
question.
highly effective?
As an intern, you're not going to be over here and highly effective. That's what they're going to look for on skilled teachers and veteran teachers. You should be expected to be in this developing area. Okay, so when you look at the rubric, look at the column with developing. You're developing, and you don't want to be ineffective. You want to be in this developing column. Okay? Good question. Construct 3, instructional practice. Effective instructional practice requires that teachers understand and integrate planning, instructional strategies, and assessment in coordinated and engaging ways. All right, so you're going to want to make sure that your assessment and your instructional practices and strategies that you're going to use in the classroom are aligned with what the students need and your standards and so forth. 3.1, planning for instruction. Teacher use methods and techniques that are effective in meeting student needs. Those key indicators are planning rigorous activities, using objectives that align with standards, and meeting the needs of the students. So you're going to make sure that those standards and those objectives all align. 3.2, assessment. The teacher used a variety of varied assessments to measure learning progress. Those key indicators are providing opportunities for students to demonstrate learning, want them to show how did they learn, want them to demonstrate, and using assessment data to inform your instruction, and providing that feedback that encourages the students to take responsibility for their own learning. 3.3, instructional strategies. Teacher delivered comprehensive instruction for students. Key indicators, using a variety of strategies to engage and challenge students, incorporating strategies to differentiate and scaffold instruction, engaging student in higher order thinking skills. So construct 3 is your teaching piece, making sure it all aligns and it all is scaffolded and differentiated to meet the student needs. Next. Right. I'll go over 4, and that's your professional responsibility. Remember we talked about those columns, and you're not going to be in the far column over here, you're going to be in the developing. Something that you need to think about as you become a professional is professional responsibility. Creating and supporting learning environments that result in students achieving at the highest levels is a teacher's primary responsibility. And you want to engage yourself in those professional pieces. They have an assignment where they have to go to attend a professional development activity. That's why we want to get you started to thinking about, how do I become a professional? How do I become a better professional? And that's something that will never stop. That's something you'll be working on your entire teaching career. All right, so they're going to look at your reflection and continuous growth. When you go back and do the reflections in internships, and you reflect on what did I do, what worked, you're going to have some lessons that just don't work. But that's okay, you learn from that, right? So if something doesn't work, take a look and reflect on it. How can I make it better? What could have I done differently? And then make those changes and go on. Collaboration and leadership. As you become a professional in education, you're going to develop and polish your skills of leadership, because you're a leader in that classroom. Those students look up to you. Later, if we have time, we'll show a video about leaving a legacy in education. Those students in your classroom need a champion. They need someone to look up to. In education, as a teacher, are that person they can look up to and be a role model for them. So that's kind of where this construct 4 is leading. Thank you.
Okay, Tiffany will be emailing all your mentor teachers with all this information. So, and they also get their TK20 log-on and password if they've not ever been in TK20 before. So she will be emailing everyone so that they know that. And then your university supervisor, us as instructors, email your mentor teachers just to introduce ourselves and say, you know, if you have any questions, please let us know.
Pause for a moment.
Oh, yes.
We have
Okay. Oh, T-Core is the Teacher Candidate Observation rubric, and we'll be using that in the methods courses. KEEP stands for Kansas Educator Evaluation Protocol. Education's full of acronyms. Okay, look in the Fort Hay FHU supervisor contacts to see who your supervisor is. Okay. So you can see all your instructors of record. It would also be on the, when you enrolled, it would be there as well. Okay. Okay, so assignments that you need to do this week before Friday at 11:59. You need to do Form N. It's in Blackboard. That's the liability waiver.
Click here to download the form. Then you must sign it, and a witness must sign it. I had an email asking who can be a witness. That's anyone who knows who you are, who is 18 years or older. And then you submit the form.
Signing.
Yes, they witness you signing it, and then they sign it. Then you submit the form by clicking on this link. That's where you upload it.
You don't get points for doing it, but you have to do it. Would you pull it up so they can see? Thank you. So you acknowledge that you're a student at Fort Hays. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. You acknowledge that you're not an employee of Fort Hays. You're not an employee of the district. If problems arise, you will agree to discuss that openly with your cooperating teacher and other appropriate people. I understand that it is recommended I maintain at all times during education professional liability and personal health insurance, which I want Dr. Brantley to talk about in just a minute. I may be assigned a cooperating teacher within the district. You have to conform to their expectations. You may be required to show proof of immunization or other medical testing. Hays doesn't do that as much, but there's some districts that require that you have other immunizations, especially if you're working with students with special needs. So that's just, I may be required. You will agree to abide by the district discrimination and harassment policies. You will communicate, attend conferences, discussions regarding, I'm sorry, I agree to cooperate with communication conferences and discussions regarding my educational clinical experiences. You're not guaranteed placement in a particular district or building or a classroom. We try to get you as close to where you are as possible, but you know, we have a lot of students to place in a lot of places. So
it says not guaranteed continued placement. And you may be moved.
Okay, so you got that, continued placement. You're not a third party beneficiary, and Fort Hays may release records to those in the district. Like some districts want verification and they want a copy of your TB skin test. So that's what that's. And then you may have to go a background check, another or a further background check. So you have to sign that, print your name, date it, have somebody who's 18 years or older sign it, print, date, and then you scan it and then upload it. There are no points attached to it, but you do have to do it before you can go out in the field.
And I do not accept it via email sent to me.
Thank you.
Too much to keep track of. It must be uploaded in Blackboard.
No emails. Okay. The bloodborne pathogens. You do need to watch that video, and then
Back in assignment.
so there's the video that you need to watch. And then also the confidentiality video, watch that. And then download the forms. And then sign and have a witness sign that yes, you watched it. Okay, by Friday, 11:59 p.m. TB skin test, if you haven't done that yet. Okay, Tiffany will talk about the TB skin test. Oh, okay.
Okay, so to figure out if you have a current TB skin test, that information is stored in the placement spreadsheet. So you see it says internship placement here in the Blackboard shell. You click on that. Then you scroll down and it says Fall 2015 Internship Placement Information Spreadsheet. Now, make sure you read the directions about viewing this spreadsheet before you open it up. So here it says you have to click on the link above, which is this, and then it tells you, it will say pending next to the mentor row if you have not yet been placed, and your TB information is in the spreadsheet. If it says expired or none, that means you do need to contact me and get me the proper documentation. So when you click on this link, it opens up this spreadsheet. Now down here, before you look at anything, you want to click on this sync button, because that will make sure that you're looking at the most updated version of the spreadsheet. Once it loads, you find your name and you click on it. So I'm going to look at Cassie Barr, for example. Then it will expand and show Cassie all of her placement information. Notice down here it says TB 1/14/2015. That means she's good to go. I've got it. The date is in there. If this would have said expired or none, that means you need to email an updated TB skin test to me, Tiffany Hester. Any questions about this spreadsheet? Okay, no questions, then we'll move on.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so you need to upload by Friday before midnight, Form N, bloodborne pathogens and confidentiality, and check your TB skin test. And after you do all of that, then you can get a name tag that you can print, and you need to say anything about that. Yeah.
So inside both the Form N folder and the bloodborne folder, it tells you about name tags. You look down here, it tells you that you will only get a name tag if you complete Form N and the bloodborne and confidentiality forms, and I have a current TB skin test on file for you. If you don't complete any of those three things, you will not be allowed to do the internship, you will not get a name. So once I have all of those name tags ready, I will send out an announcement on Blackboard telling you that they are now available in the placement spreadsheet. Placement spreadsheet is what I just showed you here. Once they're available, there will be another row on the bottom that says name tag, and then it will have the PDF file right there. You'll click on that PDF file, download it, print it, cut it out, and put it in a plastic name tag folder that you can buy at Walmart or Office Depot or wherever. The directions for all of that are located, again, inside the bloodborne folder and also inside the Form N folder. Please do not email me and ask me when name tags will be available. I will post an announcement.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I wanted Dr. Brantley to talk about liability insurance and other things that go along with KNEA membership.
All right, I asked Tiffany to go to, well, I just put in KNEA SP. Yeah, go there. If you'll just put in like KNEA SP, which is Kansas National Education Association student program, and some of you might have seen if you were at the picnic last night. How many went to the picnic? Did you see the KNEA SP table? We had a booth there, and we handed out several flyer information pieces. If you go here to the KNEA SP site and it says student program, if you scroll down just a little bit, it says join now. If you click on that, that will take you to a membership, and you say, why do I want this? Well, there are really other ways you can have liability insurance. This is one that is offered for students through the KNEA, and it also can be a part of your professionalism, okay, and your membership. This program, if you educator liability insurance, it offers you for $20 a year, and your membership would start September 1. It offers you liability while you're in the classroom, and it means that KNEA will they have a legal team. They can support you if a student would say they hit me or they said something to me or whatever it is. Then you have the liability coverage. And here It says September 1st, but if you haven't been a member before, there's an April 1st sign up. So if you sign up after April 1st, that time period until September 1, you are covered automatically. Then your membership will go around to the end of August again after renewing your membership, but they do send you information out to remind you to renew your membership. You say, well, $20, I don't do that. They give that back to you. They will, for each year that you join as a member of the student program, they will reimburse you that same amount back in a check for that amount that you become a teacher. So you get it all returned back to you. That early enrollment is that April 1st piece. So if some of you are enrolled early your first time ever become a member, then you can take advantage of that early enrollment. If you go in and you follow down, you just fill out the information. The one thing you need to make sure that you do, college or university, they'll have a drop-down box here. You need to select Fort Hays State University. And that way they know you're a member of this organization here. You can also have, parents may have a homeowner's policy, and you can check on getting liability insurance through a homeowner's policy too. You might be able to go through an insurance agent and get it that way. But this is something we do offer as a membership to a student professional organization, which is good on our resume.
Sherry, can they sign up for this if they are not in Kansas?
Yes, if you are not in Kansas, they still consider you a student of Fort Hays. So your membership needs to come from our Fort Hays chapter. Good question. Any other questions on that? Yes?
Can you put a direct link in the internship source so that
I do that.
All the way to the bottom. You notice the little check went out at the top of the screen. Yes, I want a free 1-year subscription to Instructor Magazine. That's a great magazine. It has all subject areas for pre-K-6. So you get great lesson plan ideas, information from teachers. That's a great magazine. So, and that's free.
It is free, and you also, after you get your membership, you get a card, and on using your card, you can visit restaurants. They provide you a list of things. I've been getting emails lately about lots of discounts, like at Worlds of Fun, hotels, vacation packages. I know there's some for different clothing outlet stores. So they give you a whole list of other additional benefits that you get for being a member and getting discounts. So we'll put a link in the internship and you can go directly there. We will have monthly meetings. We have several activities coming up. Your chapter president here is Andrea Smith. Deosha Johnson from here is our state president, which means in the spring, the state student program meeting for RA will come here and we'll be on campus doing some activities. I believe we're in Ellis possibly. And so watch for that. This fall we'll be going to leave Topeka for our fall RA. And so they pay for so many students to go. I think we have enough for 8 students to go for the 2-day trip. They'll pay for meals and your fuel and lodging. So if you're interested and you want to become very active, let us know. Go to the meeting. I want to say the meeting is September 24th. So watch for the meeting announcement, and we'll put up some signs downstairs as you go through the stairwell and you come out on floor 2. You'll see the bulletin boards right there. That first bulletin board is KNEASP. So watch for that.
We have some online questions.
On professional development, are we able to attend the local school if it is available? I believe there's a list of activities they can do for professional development credit.
Throughout the semester, as opportunities come up, we'll post them in the professional learning section of the Blackboard course. But also, if there are opportunities in your school district, make sure that you first talk to your mentor teacher and most likely the principal about that, because they may not want non-employees to come, but they may be open to it. So make sure that you ask first before you try to attend something. Okay, and then there's another, okay. I have to sign off that I am not employed by the district. Can I sub on the days that I am not in the field doing my internship? Yes, you can be a substitute during the time that you are not interning. Remember, you cannot be paid for internship time, so you cannot count substitute time as internship time. But if you want to be a substitute during the time that you are not doing the internship, you can do that. But when you sign that form, you are saying that as an intern, you are not acting as an employee of either Fort Hays or the school district. That's what that means. Yes. The student in the class was asking, she's gone into the internship before and she's been told that she needs to substitute for the classroom, and then the teacher leaves the classroom. In that situation, you need to politely decline to be the only adult in the classroom because you will be liable if anything happens when you're in there and you are not a licensed individual. So you need to find a tactful and professional way to say that you're not comfortable with that and put it back on the university. I would say that you can tell them, I've been told by Fort Hays that I'm not allowed to be the adult in charge in the room without someone else in the room with me. Okay, so the student, for those of you online, said she happens to be a licensed substitute. So that's a little bit of a different situation, but still, when you're an intern, you're not supposed to be acting as that employee. So that's a discussion you might want to have with your mentor teacher up front when you start. That brings me to another point. All of those of you who have been placed need to contact your mentor teachers today if you have not yet contacted them. So that means you send them an email, you introduce yourself, you talk about scheduling. Those of you in Hays, your schedule has already been set and that information is in the spreadsheet. But you need to reach out to the mentor teacher, let them know that you're coming. Internships start when? The week of August 31st. So your mentor teachers have already been informed of that, but you need to remind them because they have a lot going on. And introduce yourself. Let them know something about you. Start that relationship on a good foot.
I have a question. Could she substitute that day and then make up time on another day for her internship?
If they're going to officially treat you as a substitute and pay you for that time, you could, but not the way she was describing it.
And if there's a problem, you can always contact me, and I will be glad to contact your mentor teacher or your principal, and we can work something out. But yes, if you need to sub that day, then maybe you could rearrange to then do your internship another day.
But you should be getting.
Yeah, be sure and get paid for that. Yeah, you can't get paid while you're in internships. Okay. Okay, what do you have to do before midnight on Friday? Form in, bloodborne pathogens, TB, double check your TB skin test, and what else? Confidentiality form.
So contact whom?
Oh, yes, and contact your mentor teacher. Anything else?
And where do you submit the bloodborne pathogens and the form in and the confidentiality?
Blackboard. Be sure and put it in Blackboard. Our emails are flooded with so many things. Okay. I would highly encourage you to join KNEA. Not only is it for liability insurance, it's $2 million, by the way, of liability insurance. They do not protect bad teachers. So if you do something wrong, you will not be protected. But you know, if you slap a child, they will not protect you, but they will protect your rights to a fair hearing. But if you're accused of something that is not true, then they will protect you. Also, Dr. Brantley was talking about all the benefits. There are businesses in town that offer, and the only one I can think of right now is JD's Chicken. You get 10% off if you show your KNEA card. I think Pizza Hut is another one. Dr. Walliser tells a story when her daughter got married of getting all these free discounts for hotels and services. So if you're planning a big event, you might check that. Plus, they offer professional development for all grade levels, for all teachers, and they offer leadership opportunities for you. So like Dr. Brantley said, we have 2 students on our campus now that are in a state leadership role, and that was because of KNEA. So they do it's awesome that Deosha is our state president. She got to go to Atlanta last summer to the National Representative Assembly, and then because she's the president, we get to host the state representative assembly, and they always do some kind of a service event, and they're thinking, Ellis, you said they're going to do something at a school to, maybe they're going to clean or paint or fix the playground, or so they always do some kind of a service project too. I think that's all.
I'd like to add one thing. If you need a refresher on the things that you need to be sharing with your mentor teacher and the things that you need to get done this week, in the Blackboard course, in the meeting section, you'll see there's meeting 1, documents and materials. If you click on that, there are notes from what we covered today. It tells you the things you need to share with your mentor teacher. It tells you the things that are due this week. So you might want to print that off to help you remember everything that you need to.
And we'll talk more on Thursday about your assignments and about being a professional and just lots of other things. So there's a video I think we can watch, and then we'll be done. Have a good semester. It's exciting to be a teacher.
I have spent my entire life either at the schoolhouse, on the way to the schoolhouse, or talking about what happens in the schoolhouse. Both my parents were educators. My maternal grandparents were educators. And for the past 40 years, I've done the same thing. And so needless to say, over those years, I've had a chance to look at education reforms from a lot of perspectives. Some of those reforms have been good, some of them have been not so good. And we know why kids drop out. We know why kids don't learn. It's either poverty, low attendance, negative peer influences. We know why. But one of the things that we never discuss, or we rarely discuss, is the value and importance of human connection. Relationships. James Comer says that no significant learning can occur without a significant relationship. George Washington Carver says all learning is understanding relationships. Everyone in this room has been affected by a teacher or an adult. For years, I have watched people teach. I have looked at the best and I've looked at some of the worst. A colleague said to me one time, they don't pay me to like the kids. They pay me to teach a lesson. The kids should learn it. I should teach it. They should learn it. Case closed. Well, I said to her, you know, kids don't learn from people they don't like. She said, that's just a bunch of hooey. And I said to her, well, your year is going to be long and arduous, dear. Needless to say, it was. Some people think that you can either have it in you to build a relationship or you don't. I think Stephen Covey had the right idea. He said you ought to just throw in a few simple things, like seeking first to understand as opposed to being understood. Simple things like apologize. You ever thought about that? Tell a kid you're sorry, they're in shock. I taught a lesson once on ratios. I'm not real good with math, but I was working on it. And I got back and looked at that teacher edition. I taught the whole lesson wrong. So I came back to class the next day and I said, look, guys, I need to apologize. I taught the whole lesson wrong. I'm so sorry. They said, that's okay, Miss Pearson. You were so excited. We just let you go. I have had classes that were so low, so academically deficient that I cried. I wondered, how am I going to take this group in 9 months from where they are to where they need to be? And it was difficult. It was awfully hard. How do I raise the self-esteem of a child and his academic achievement at the same time? One year I came up with a bright idea. I told all my students, you were chosen to be in my class. Because I am the best teacher and you are the best students, they put us all together so we could show everybody else how to do it. One of the students said, really? I said, really? We have to show the other classes how to do it. So when we walk down the hall, people will notice us. So you can't make noise, you just have to strut. And I gave them a thing to say, I am somebody. I was somebody when I came. I'll be a better somebody when I leave. I am powerful and I am strong. I deserve the education that I get here. I have things to do, people to impress, and places to go. And they said, yeah. You stayed long enough.
Okay, sorry, it's time to go, but did you want to say something?
Very inspirational. Watch the rest of it. It's great.
Thanks for being here. Have a good day. The video is posted in the meeting section of the Blackboard course. See you Thursday.